Hi, this is Crystal from Crystallized Designs, and I'm going to show you how to make this braided keychain. This is a quick and fun project to make for yourself or gifts, but they're also really great for craft fairs. It doesn't take a lot of supplies to make. You don't need to know a specific type of craft to do them, and they're fairly cheap to make. So let's talk about supplies you're going to need. You're going to need key rings. So I bought split key rings, but you can also look in the same area of your local craft store or online, different things that you could attach your braid to, or if you wanted to do like a spring snap to the key ring, you could do that as well. So definitely keep that in mind when you're shopping for supplies. You also need something to create the braid with. And there's a lot of different things you could use. I use the suede lace. You could also use leather, or I have jute here. If you have leftover yarn or macrame cord, you could use. Ribbon works really good. You also need a measuring tape and scissors. You could also add beads or charms to your key ring. So it really depends on how much you want to put into this, how you want it to look. This specific key ring cost me about $1.20 to make, and how I figured that out is I used the suede lace and the key rings, and I figured out how many it would take to make this, and I figured out the cost that way. So this was $1.20, and if you research what your product sells for online or at craft fairs or wherever you want to sell, something like this can go anywhere from $11 to $25. Now obviously if I'm selling this for $25, I'm going to want beads on it. Maybe they're handmade beads or store-bought beads, but anything added to this is going to up the price. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about how to make this. You're going to take whatever you're cutting or whatever you're making your braid with, and you're going to cut it into 30-inch strips. So I have some jute cut already. Here I have 3 strips. So again, you're going to want to make 30-inch strips. So cut that using your tape measure and scissors, and then we're going to attach that to our key ring. So how to attach that? We're going to attach that with a lark's head knot. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to match up the 2 ends and find the center, which is this loop. We're going to insert that loop into the key ring, and we're going to take our 2 ends and we're going to put them through the loop, and then we're going to pull. So that's a lark's head knot. I'll show you again with another one of my strips. We're matching up the ends. We're making that loop. We're inserting it. And then we're taking our ends and pushing our ends through and pulling to secure. Now you have a front and a back. It depends on what look you're going for. They look different. So a tip about doing this braid, I'm going to do the other one quick while I'm talking here. A quick tip about how to create this braid and make it look tight, woven, and really neat is to secure your key ring. So kitchen cabinet knobs, if you have a smaller knob, that works great to hold this into place. I'm going to use an S-hook, and I'm just going to hook this on the back of my desk, and you can kind of see it, but I'm going to hook my key ring on it, and that way I can really pull and I can tighten any of my strands, and it's not moving around. If I were to try and braid this, especially with something thicker or stiff material, it's not going to braid as tight. So I'm going to leave the S-hook here so I can get a nice tight braid, but I'm going to show you with color coded strands. So what I did was I took yarn, because that is more flexible and hopefully it'll be easier to see. I did the rainbow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate each of these strands. so you can see, and they go in the color. I'm gonna call them, let's see here, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with colors, because if you're using colors, I don't want to confuse you. So we're going to call it by the alphabet, but this is going to show you exactly how to twist your strands. So, okay, let's clear my workspace a little bit here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take C and cross that over D. Let me see if I can get these out of the way so it's easier to see here. There we go. Okay, so C went over D. Now D is going to go over B. E is going to go over C. And B is going to go over E. So that is how that is going to look. Now you're going to want to pull this tight. I have not pulled it tight yet because I kind of want you to see the design that it's creating. So we're not done yet. We're going to work with the two outers now. So once you have this part done, you're going to basically just be working with the outer strands. You're going to take one of them, the outermost strand, and you're going to go over and then under the one next to it. We're going to take this one and go over and under the one next to it. Then we're going to take the two middle ones and we're going to crisscross them. So you always want to do it from the same side. So I'm going to take my left and go to the right. So now I have that design. Again, I'm just going to keep repeating the steps now. I'm going to take my outer and go over and under, and then crisscross in the middle. So I do need to tighten this. Let's see here. If you tighten this as you work from the beginning, I just wanted to show you those steps. So we're not as tight at the top, but that's okay. I do want you to see how that's created up there. So we're just going to continue going over and under, and then crisscross and pull tight. Okay. Over and under, and crisscross. So, I'm getting kind of low here. If you know, I don't want to really do this double-handed because it's harder to see, but you do see the braid starting. So, the outer one, over and under, and crisscross. And I'm going to pull it tight. All right, so if you're great at braiding, you don't need to lay it on a table. Okay, so over and under, and then crisscross the two middle. So it's harder to see with the smaller strands, but that is what you want, the braided. Okay, so now that you have the idea, let's go to the jute. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder, or it might be easier. Let's see here. Okay, so the beginning steps again, not color-coded. You're going to take C and go over D. Then you're going to take D and go over B. you're going to take E and go over C, and you're going to take B and go over E. So now I'm going to pull this tight right away. So you want that real tight at the top. Okay, I'm going to try and lay this down now so it's easier to see and keep my strands separated. Okay, so now I'm working with the outers now. Once I have that, I'm going to work with the outer ones. Over and under, over and under. And then I'm crossing them in the center and pulling tight. So yes, this is definitely easier to see the braid starting with the jute. And it's thicker, so it will be easier to see. Over and under. Get my strands in order here. Over and under. And cross. And pull tight. It does take a bit of practice, but it is not that hard. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to keep over and under, over and under. You're going to keep braiding, and I'm going to keep going across. You're going to want to do this for like my suede one. You're going to want to do it for roughly 7 inches. All right. I hope I'm not going too fast. If you're lost or if something is not looking right, definitely go back and replay. I will have a picture tutorial as well. I'm sitting, I would prefer my S-hook closer to me. I definitely like it closer to me. I feel like I'm really reaching and it's sort of uncomfortable. So definitely find what way is comfortable for you. Just gonna keep going here, and I hope I didn't mess up there. It doesn't look like I messed up, but I'm talking and I'm trying to keep going here because I want to get to show you how to do the knot. Okay, so maybe a few more. Okay. Well, a few more. This is a great technique to teach kids how to braid. Okay, so let's pull this tight. Again, I'm keeping tension on it to keep that braid nice and tight. Okay, so there's different ways you could definitely knot this. This is not 7 inches. I did go 7 inches with my suede one. This is also where you could add beads after you knot it. I'm going to show you how I knotted it. It's a super easy, simple knot. You can, there's multiple ways to do this. So I'm just going to show you. I took the 2 outmost strands and I flipped them around. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to bring them to the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot while keeping tension on my braid here. So I just did a knot, and it looks like so. Now this guy, I don't like how that's looking. So if you want to loop this guy back through the knot, that's what I did for this one. So they all kind of laid the straight, even way. I stuck a tweezers, so you may need a tweezers if you want to play with it. Let's see if I can pull this through. Let me get towards the end. Okay. Oh, shoot. Alright, that didn't work out as well. The jute is coming apart on me here. It was a lot easier with the suede. Okay, so, oh, darn it. I'm gonna grab this strand here. Okay. This does not like me. Okay. If I can just get that one strand out. Well, this one, I will be fraying the edges. Okay. So that is how I knotted it. Now I see that I pulled one of these strands tight. You can see that one sticking up there. So it obviously does not look as nice and neat as that. Once I pulled this strand, it pulled up here. But basically you can do that. If you know how to create a square knot, you can definitely create a square knot. I can show you that. So you're going to take the two outside pieces again, and you're going to cross the left over the front, and you're going to take the right and go over the tail, and then up and through. So it's like so. And you're going to pull that. Alright, so again, I got to keep tension on it here. So that's part of a square knot. Then I'm going to take the other side and basically do the same thing the other side. So I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to take the left side now and go behind and through. And I'm going to pull that tight. So that is a square knot. So with this jute coming apart, I probably should have did the square knot, whereas this is just a plain knot. But there's other ways you could do, other things you could do as well. You could take thinner jute and wrap it around and then tie it off. Any kind of knot that you want to secure with or what you feel is best, definitely do that. You could also, this is where you could add some beads, and then you could knot and add some beads to it. You technically wouldn't have to have them up this high. If you wanted them lower or where they move around, you could do that. So definitely play with other things that can go onto this. Yes, see, I shouldn't have pulled that through. I should have did a different knot to tighten that. But that is how you do it. I would love to see your projects, so feel free to post them on my social media pages, my Facebook page, my group. Tag me in your projects. I would love to see them. And if you're doing any craft fairs, be sure to check out the post on my Crystallized Designs blog. I have a great way to display keychains or other small items, so be sure to check that out as well. And if you loved this or any of my other tutorials, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.